Hello and welcome to this Car Pod.
I'm Kennan.
I'm Filippo.
Let's start with the news. The biggest news story of the week is our Cayenne manual sale.
Yeah.
I say that because it was covered on some news organizations.
Every single person who's into cars texted me and sent me this and wanted to know what the heck
Hoovy
happened.
was texting me. We sold. All right, here's what happened. I was in Palm Springs. I'm driving back from Palm Springs, and I get this text. There's a manual Cayenne is going crazy. And we have this jet green manual Cayenne on the site, 2014, and it sold in the end after, what, 45 minutes of bidding?
Yeah.
Was it our longest ever?
No, but it was close.
For $125,500. Now, I want to cover this as a news story for a few reasons. Number one, this is probably a record price for a manual Cayenne.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you
think
say
it is.
that, but there were, when they were new, some people equipped them to about this. There were a few out there that have this level of spec. It was,
Imagine.
it was generally agreed when I worked at Porsche that the manual Cayennes were typically equipped more like S's than bases, but there were some people who went crazy
Do you
with
know
specs.
what MSRP was on this specific one?
63.
64, yeah.
Okay, so there's that.
Yeah.
Probably an all-time manual Cayenne record.
Yeah.
And then there was also, it's an unbelievable situation. I want to be clear. These manual Cayennes, we've talked before on this podcast about how they have been selling for more and more.
Yep.
But that was like 50,000,
50,
60 maybe.
60 would have been high in my mind.
Very high, I agree.
For a general manual Cayenne. Now, this particular one was unusual. This particular one is jet green.
Good call.
The vast majority of these were silver black, you know. But green was offered on the Cayenne, and so apparently people did it. And it was also pretty low miles. Some miles were like in the 60s.
Yeah.
Most of these were bought to be driven, and so were driven.
Yep.
And when we see them come on the site, they often have 120,000 miles, 130. Not that that's used up, but you're not going to pay top dollar for a car at that mileage level. And obviously the fact there was a manual had some cool options, like you can see the wood trim with the dual little things there.
And Premium Plus package, you know.
It was a nice car. RS Spider wheels, which are the best looking wheel on that Cayenne. It was a nice car. And it's a 14, which is the final model year that the manual Cayenne was offered. Nonetheless, $125,500 is a lot of money. Now, there was a lot of speculation, as there is whenever there's one of these sales, on our auction site or on one of the others. We won't name names. That, you know, it's not real or this or that. But this car did transact.
Yep.
I know the seller personally. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but he sells cars in Fort Worth. He sells on our site. He sells a bunch of stuff. Nothing's ever gone crazy like this for him before. No. He was as shocked as we were. The car transacted on a different auction site.
Years ago,
a different one for a lot less. Something to consider. But it's a special car, and these manual Cayennes have become more special. I will also say that not only was the high bidder legit, he followed through and bought the car and paid for it, but the second bidder, we Googled that person's name. That person is also legit. These people were not in any sort of weird...
This is a true battle.
It was a true battle for a car that you know you're never going to find again. And a lot of the internet commenters are, oh, I can't believe it. Well, let me tell you something. If you had $50 million and you were a Porsche enthusiast and you really wanted the ultimate Porsches, you could look at this and say, this was the most unusual example of a special Porsche. These people are willing to pay $6 million for a 918 Spider because it's white. I mean, that's even crazy. I watched those results, and that's way crazier to me than this. Trust me. But it happens, and weird things like this happen when there are cars that are really, really desired and really hard to find.
It's tough because you can't. We've had many manual Cayennes, all the manual Cayennes ever built, probably at this point, submitted to us as a result.
How many manual Cayennes?
We're about to have every single
we will
one
have
built
it.
submitted.
Pull it up, Kennan. Pull it up.
The
Kennan.
reality is that this is not necessarily a replicable result, right? Like they're not all worth $125,000. Maybe no other is worth $125,000.
Oh no, I disagree. I actually think so. We've sold 43 manual Cayennes. One of the funny things about this is there were 3 different manual Cayennes. Okay,
Yeah, there were.
There was the
Let's go
first
through it.
gen V6,
Which we sold one of last week.
there was the second gen, or there was the first gen GTS with a V8, and then there was the third gen V6. There was the only 3 manual Cayennes. They never did a diesel. They never did turbo. There's a lot of speculation. Never happened.
And they made about 3
They're not a lot of them.
total.
The funny thing, I think, is the first gen V6, go back up to the top, they are just used cars. They sell for very little. We sold this one for $7,900.
Yeah. Tough.
It's just a used car. The market does not appreciate it. The first gen V8s, the GTS manual, they bring some money, but most of those have really been miled up at this point.
With that one. But our second highest manual Cayenne result is first gen GTS at 50.
Probably a lower mile car, I imagine. Probably 69,000 miles. That's getting hard to find. A lot of these are now at 150,000
Cool
miles, badly modded, et cetera. This was a nice one.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know what? Go back. That one, which I think is that Umber? No, that was Auburn Metallic.
Auburn.
That was a deal.
At this point, that is a deal.
But
at the time, that was close to like the record auction.
Yeah, it
result.
was a good number. I actually, and these are the big 21s.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really think that sale can be replicated.
Wow.
There are manual Cayennes out there. I know this from my time working at Porsche. There are manual Cayennes out there with more unusual builds than this one. The question is, what happened to them? And will the person ever sell? And does it have 500,000 miles on it?
Right.
You know, has it been badly modded or crashed or whatever?
So if you know someone with a stock Peridot green manual Cayenne,
they would. Yeah, I guess Peridot could have been. You could have done paint to sample on it. Although I don't know if they offered paint to sample back then. But the closest you could get, there are probably yellow ones. There are because that was a standard color,
Sapphire?
sand yellow.
sand yellow.
There are greens certainly. There are some unusual ones out there. So you know,
It's clearly a rising tide situation
rising tide.
with some big waves.
Big sale, but legitimate sale, legitimate seller
Yeah.
who's a legit guy and
Exactly.
sells a bunch of stuff, legit buyer, paid for it. Just a crazy thing. This is not that unusual.
No.
It obviously for a
it
manual
is.
Cayenne
It's
it is,
special. It
but it's
requires
not that
having
unusual.
the right people in the
It's
right
not
room.
that unusual for a very special. You'll never find another type of car to get more money than it ought to. And I was actually kind of surprised by the response from people. Anybody who's really shocked by this probably isn't paying that close of attention to auction results. We are. We watch our site. We watch
Yep.
the other sites. We see this happen sometimes.
Ultimately, as I've always said, the beauty of an auction is all it takes are two people who really want it, and you end up with a bidding war that has 150 bids. And they were going up by $500 increments. The one guy tried to
time.
fake him out and said, "I'm done," and then bam, hit him with another bid. It was so good to watch.
It was good quality programming.
It was.
And this is a special car. It really is. These are unusual. And people pay for unusual, especially in the Porsche world. I've always said this. The Porsche world, if we're being honest with ourselves, the cars are not really all that different. And so when you get a car that has some specifically, this is why they get so into the stitching and the leather and the colors, because the cars are not really all that different. And when you get a car that has some distinguishing features like this, it's going to have a big effect. It just is. So there you go. Kennan, did you think about buying it?
Absolutely. Well, not at that number.
I did. When it came across, I saw his reserve and I know him, and I thought about texting him and being like, "Hey man, I think you're strong. Like I'll give you 35." I legit thought about that. Like it'd be fun to have this car and 35. I was hoping that would do it.
Yeah, I'm glad
Turns
he
out.
held out. Turns out, don't accept
90
offers
off,
from your
that's
friends.
I was
Sell it at
100
auction.
short.
That's okay. It happens, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, moving on to the next news story.
The next news story is the big one. Kennan, you read about this?
Of course I did. The Testarossa is back.
The 849 Testarossa.
Yes. Funny, it doesn't look much like the old one. But then
Is
again,
the-
that one didn't look like the one that came before.
Where
that.
does the number come from? Is that PS? Where does that number come from?
I believe it's PS.
Of all
Oh,
the
no, it's
stuff
more
I've
power
read
than
about
that.
this car, it's more. It's got like 1,000 horsepower, right? It's like 1,000.
Right, it's 1,000 and something, yeah.
8 stands for the V8 and 49 is 499 cc displacement per cylinder, just
Oh,
like
wow,
the old days.
days, yeah.
Okay, so the 849 Testarossa, this replaces the SF90.
Yes.
Do you think it will be as unsuccessful as the SF90 has been?
No, because it looks different. Very, very, very different
Yeah.
from the standard car. This is going to push SF90 values way down.
That's so true. Even like already, now that
Already.
people know that this
Yeah.
is coming.
Well, look how it looks so cool.
It looks cool.
It is odd. Like there are no callbacks to the Testarossa that's so famous from the 80s. But like I said, there was a Testarossa in the 50s, and those two cars do not share anything in common except that they have 12-cylinder
And
engines.
it does have some callbacks to that. There's a little bit of a pontoon. There's a little bit of a cockpit shade.
It has more callbacks to like the 512S, like the race cars, like the prototype race cars.
Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Filippo knows what I'm talking
Ken's
about.
right.
Numbers.
We've all been thinking about it.
It's okay. Enjoy your nap. It'll be fine.
Thank you.
But nonetheless, this is a really exciting car. It is interesting because they say they did a lot of modifications to the engine and the chassis are very different. But ultimately, it's a hybrid, very powerful V8 Ferrari. The difference between this and the SF90, like I said, is they made it look special.
The SF90's biggest problem, in my opinion, was 2 to 3-fold. Number one, undoubtedly, was that it just didn't look that different from a regular production Ferrari. Like, I, to this day, have trouble telling apart an F8 and an SF90 when I see them, and one was 3 times more expensive. But the other problems were it was too expensive, and it was too produced. The production numbers were too high, and the result has been an unbelievable drop on the used market. I'm not sure style alone will get this car in a better position. I would also suggest to Ferrari, if you're listening, probably don't produce it in such high numbers. I think your clients will appreciate that also.
Yeah.
I also think it looks really cool. There's a lot of comments, oh, it looks like this, it's ugly, it's weird. Ferrari, one thing I think Ferrari does well, as much as we would love a retro, Ferrari has always been like, no, we're next. We set the trends. Like, we don't look back. We set the new trend.
Right. Now, of course, every car since the 458 has been a little derivative of the 458. But you are correct. Generally, they like
car.
Well, yeah. So was the 250. You know, the California. But nonetheless, these cars, I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. I also think that they do like to throw now little touches in from the past, which I really like. Like the 296 has the 250 LM haunches.
Yep.
The 12 Cilindri has the
front end
of the Daytona. Which some of us feel it should have been called the Daytona. But we'll move on.
Wow.
Maybe,
the SP3 is called the Daytona.
Right, which of course it doesn't look anything like a Daytona. They just use the names because they have to keep the trademark active.
Probably.
And they probably could use that. Probably could do that a little bit more strategically, but nonetheless, this is a very exciting car.
Are you excited about it? Because you've come out and said, I don't like modern Ferrari. I don't like that it's hybrid. I don't like that it's not.
I mean,
whatever. Are you excited about it?
My opinion personally doesn't matter because I'm not a customer for this car, obviously. But so most people.
I think we both agree that it would be cooler if it was a NAV12, a manual transmission, etc.
Yeah, are you excited about it?
Personally, I am. I think it looks awesome. I think it has 1,000 horsepower. I think the SF90 has been a total dud, and I'm happy to see Ferrari putting in some new investment and new thought into this, and realizing where they went wrong with that car, and clearly giving this more of an exotic, special look. I think that's a big deal. I'm certainly much more excited about this than I ever have been about SF90, even when SF90 was first revealed. Right. I feel like this is just way cooler.
This makes a little bit more sense. I still don't know exactly where it kind of fits into the hierarchy. That's a little
It'll
nebulous.
just be an SF90 replacement.
Right, but I still don't know where that fit into the hierarchy. It's like it's supercar, but it isn't. It's like I still don't know. At least this looks cool. But it is also interesting to see Ferrari's new design language. Like they're continuing with that stripe across the front like they have for
which
the
looks so good.
Let
me tell you how I evolved on the 12 Cilindri. I first saw it and I was very skeptical, as I think a lot of people were. I first saw pictures. Then I had that green one that we reviewed in the office, and I was into it. And last week I saw one in person, and I was like, damn. It looks, whether or not it's beautiful, it is so striking.
Right.
Like, wow, what am I looking at?
Right.
Like, this is cool.
I think that with a lot of automotive design, you really have to wait till you see it in person. Because pictures, as the saying goes, don't do it justice. And Ferrari press pictures, as we discussed in our friend group, are bizarre.
Ferrari press pictures are always weird. They're always AI. They've been doing AI since before AI was a thing. And they always, a lot of them, usually it's a black background. This is on some sort of, is that a racetrack or is that a building back there? It's an unusual thing. It's a racetrack next to a building that just goes upward. You don't want to crash on this particular racetrack.
Maybe there's could be near a runway. I can't.
The point is, their pictures are always a little weird. I think seeing a car in light, next to normal cars, kind of gives it a little bit more context to how special it is.
They couldn't have photoshopped out those parking ballers.
I think they'd like them there to imply that it's like a competition situation. Because I don't think the entire picture is real. Nothing about it, including the car. But 1,036 horsepower plug-in hybrid V8. Yes, a V12 would be cooler. That's not the direction we're going. It's just a new SF90 that is maybe going to solve some of the problems of the old SF90.
Yeah.
And which is namely style.
Coupe and convertible, by the way.
What the SF90 should have been from the start.
Probably. Something more distinct, something more special. I think if it had been, it would have at least done a little better on the used market. There would be more desire around it. The only desire around the SF90 that I see is from people who are not all that sophisticated in the car world and see it as like 200 grand off for a new Ferrari and like, this is a deal, or people who are trying to get more Ferraris later.
Well, like I said, now this is how people like Filippo are looking for a deal. That'll be the SF90.
He sold an SF90 the other day for not that much, considering what its spec was.
Just shy of $500 for a $760,000 car. But that's what SF90s are worth.
When I was a kid. Oh yeah, no. I actually thought it was a strong number.
But
it was a cool.
It's
color.
gonna go down. We agree.
When I was a child, there was no Ferrari that sold for under sticker. It wasn't like a thing. It didn't occur. Like a Ferrari came out. You waited 3 years. You bought one. If you wanted to flip it, you could make 50 grand, or you could use it. It was very special that you were selected. Well, the concept that these are just readily available for 200 under sticker is wild.
Do you remember the gray market imports, like all the 360s that were coming over early because you just couldn't get them?
Yeah,
totally. All the time.
Yep.
Not anymore.
SF90 a bit of a failure. Hopefully the 849.
849 Testarossa, as we call it in Italian.
Formally.
Coupe and convertible, by the way, and they say sometime next year it's going on sale, mid-26, so a year from now, a little less, but that's probably Europe. So imagine all the other automotive YouTubers will have reviewed it in the spring of 26, and then I will get it sometime in 27 when it finally comes to America.
Yep, January of 27. We'll be waiting.
Fall is here, and so is the chaos. Back to school mornings, soccer practices, football games, and all those extra trips for groceries, coffee, and gas. It adds up fast. That's where Upside comes in. With the free Upside app, you can earn real cash back every time you fill up your tank, grab a bite to eat, or stock up on essentials. Whether you're driving across town for a game or running out for last-minute snacks, Upside helps you keep more money in your pocket. And it's not points, credits, or confusing rewards. It's actual cash that you can transfer straight back to your bank account. Upside works at over 100,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants, and users earn 3 times more cash back than with loyalty programs or credit card rewards. In fact, Upside has already given back more than $1 billion. Billion. Personally, I use Upside whenever I stop for gas or groceries. It's basically free money that seamlessly fits into my routine. I'd be crazy to leave it on the table. Upside has given back $1 billion to its users. To find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside and use code CARS to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. Or scan the QR code here to claim this offer.
All right, move on. A lot of news this week.
Big one for you.
News this week is the revival of the G-Class Cabriolet. So let's talk about it. Everybody's been asking me about it. I've been tagged in 4 billion Instagram posts about the new G-Class Cabriolet. Mercedes-Benz has announced the G-Cabriolet Return. I have become famously associated with my G-Cabriolet.
Yep.
I have owned it now for 6 years. It'll be 6 years next month. And I bought mine for $133,000, and I think it's probably now worth, at one point I think it was worth $233,000. The market has become obsessed with this car, which is one of the points that Mercedes-Benz used to bring it back.
Yeah.
I watched an interview with some executive at Mercedes-Benz who said the final edition cars were $150 when they were new, and they now sell for $400. And so we see there's a groundswell, there's a market interest in this car, and so we are returning. Everybody's been asking if I'm going to get one. I have gotten on my list at my Mercedes dealer. I'm first.
As you should be.
But I made 2. Nothing was revealed about this car aside from this photo. And Mercedes said that it will come to the U.S. and then it will be offered with their most popular powertrains.
They have 2.
Well, 3. They have an electric.
You're right. Won't be electric. We know that.
So
They use that powertrain very carefully.
I told Mercedes-Benz, I told the dealer that I want to buy it, I want it under 2 very specific circumstances. Number 1, that it is not a limited edition ultra expensive thing. I think that this should be a 200 to 250 car based on where like the other G-Wagons are. That's like where I believe the pricing makes sense. However, the 4x4 squared that they sell now starts at $330, or it did before the axles were breaking and they can't sell it anymore. And if that's where something to think about, if that's where the Cabriolet is priced, no interest. Like if they make it a limited edition, ultra high expensive thing, I'll sit it out and wait till it's used because I think it'll depreciate like the 4x4 squared has. The other condition is it can't be. And I don't know, I don't use this word, but I can't think of another word that describes what I'm saying.
Where's this going?
It can't be douchey.
Which is a tough thing for G-Wagon not to be. So.
My hope is that they come with a regular G550 that has those stronger than the 1980s wheels and orange turn signals and like old school colors and like not a lot of bling.
Right.
My presumption is that it will be a G63 and it will have all of the accoutrement that you'd expect from a G63 and the people that goes with, in which case I have no interest in owning the car. But it would be cool as hell. It looks like it's going to be a four-door, which would be really great for me with my children. Right now, my method of getting my kids in mind is I lift them over the side of the car, which has a shelf life. They're going to get too big for that.
Yep.
So there you go, the G-Cabriolet Return. Are you excited?
I am excited for you.
I never thought this would happen. My presumption always was that they're supply constrained. They built this car in Graz in Austria, and they're supply constrained. There's so much demand for the G, and there always has been, that I never thought they would bother with this stupid kind of novelty body style, because there's just so much interest in the four-door, and what's the point of going to the trouble of developing this when you can just sell four-doors? But here we are.
You'd buy an electric one, wouldn't you? If it was
I would
offered?
consider it. My current thought is that if I bought this, I would sell my old one and my Sequoia and
Drive
consolidate
across the country.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I think if I sold those two, I could probably get about as much money as what I'm hoping this sell.
Well,
sticker
I like to
is.
think that it'll be more refined than his current one, so the top's not going to go flap, 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 flap as you're driving along the highway. But of course, they're so proud of the design.
It's going to be ugly. We all know it's going to be ugly. There's no question it'll be ugly. But that's been true. That was true. The previous one didn't seem to stop people from paying up. I mean, he's right. The Mercedes exec is right. Final editions do sell for $400,000. And even the one I have, California Legal, is probably a 200 car.
It's going to be a large top.
It'll be a large top. I did notice that the front is that there's a little bit of a roof on the front section.
Wait, are you worried this won't be like the Landaulet, where it's just like the back is a convertible and the front isn't?
You know, the Landaulet uses the same top from mine. Did you know that? Pull up a picture of the Landaulet. This is going to blow your mind. The Landaulet, which was the other G convertible I made, G650 Landaulet. That car, if you actually look at a side profile image, you can pull up this one.
Yeah, that looks like.
So you see the weird triangle window. The only thing it's missing is the regular cab had a triangle window in the top, and they didn't put the Landaulet. But the reason the Landaulet doesn't have a top over the front seats is because they simply reused the two-door G-Cabriolet top and pulled it back. And so the Landaulet literally just has my car's top. That's all it is.
Go back to the
It's one of the great secrets of the whole thing.
Well, it's nice knowing you can always get canvas for yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you want to
go back to the photo from Mercedes?
This will not be the case.
There is a little bit of overhang.
There is a little bit of overhang, but this is clearly going to be a longer roof.
Yeah.
Now, convertible four-door is very rare in the car industry. I can't think of any convertible I mean, the Jeep Wrangler and the Bronco, but they don't have power tops.
Yeah.
If you power top convertible four-door,
can't think of
they
one.
happen. They exist, but they're old days they used to do it, 60s, 70s, but very, very, very rare. There usually becomes issues of structural rigidity, and also it's just a lot of top to fold up and to do all that. Right. My assumption is they'll have bars going across the middle. They just basically have to for rigidity. But anyway, I'm excited. Filippo's excited.
I am excited.
Are you?
Sure.
This car has been a staple in our lives. I've done 30,000 miles in mine in hours, let's say.
Yeah. What a moment. What a day. What a life.
You've spent endless time.
I've spent a lot of time in it.
It's the only car of yours I'm actually scared to drive.
For
the longest time until you got the Carrera GT, that was the one.
I woke up that day that they announced this. I never would have expected that I would wake up and order it, get on a list for a new car. Like, there is basically no new car, short of Porsche making like a $500,000 manual transmission supercar that I was somehow qualified for.
Doesn't count.
No, like a mid-engine, like real thing.
Oh, mid-engine is that?
It's like distinct. This is the only thing that could have possibly gotten me up off my pedestal of not getting.
Well, that and the new Defender when it came out.
Yeah, years ago. Yeah. But like I'm off any of that stuff.
Right.
Big deal. Kennan, you have any thoughts about this? This is a big deal.
It is. I'd like to see some more pictures of it, and
not really.
Time.
You won't want to
in due time. Don't you agree? It's going to be too blinged out.
Yep,
I'm going to bail.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The thing is, I think they will offer a G550 version for other markets at least.
I hope.
And then you import it, title it as a G63.
Yeah, it's that easy.
Yeah. They are in Europe doing stronger than the 1980s without the trim package, like the same, very similar wheels, colors, other design touches in packages in Europe. So hopefully they try to combine those.
You could certainly start modding it, but I'm not going to.
That's a long road to go
I just want to get a G550.
Yeah.
with those 5-star wheels.
Yeah.
And like a convertible. I just don't want to look like the kind of person who's a G-Wagon.
You want a first-gen 4x4 squared, which was a G550, not a second-gen 4x4 squared.
You know, they could do a normal one and then do a Maybach trim that's gaudy.
I'm sure they'll do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll do that. But it would be nice to do it to have a base engine. But my guess is they're going to want to milk this for real money. If they went to the trouble to develop it and took time off the line of building the 4 doors to build this stupid convertible, I bet you this thing is priced at $350, and I bet you it's going to be like fully spec, crazy, like off the charts, like weird.
Maybe at the end of the production line.
Buy a used one in 10 years.
Yep.
That's how we do it. Okay, what's our next news story?
Ooh, a different Mercedes.
This is a big one.
This is a big grill, yeah. This is the new GLC with EQ technology.
That's not what they're calling it anymore, though. Isn't it just GLC EV?
Yeah, it's GLC EQ, I thought.
No, I think they've given up the whole EQ thing. Every coverage I've seen
GLC EQ is the
you're
formal
right,
name of it.
GLC with EQ technology.
Yeah.
But
sort of.
it's going to be called GLC 400 Formatic. And if you want to add the EQ technology, you can.
It's there. Things that Kennan needs to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. We can be done with that sense. No, so the GLC is Mercedes' kind of small, compact SUV, not the smallest, but in the small luxury space. Finally, they have an actual EV version. They have not had an EV GLC in the US. They've had a plug-in hybrid, but not a full EV. It is styled distinctively from the regular GLC a little bit, but it's still identifiable as one. It's not the same rounded EQE thing before. And most importantly, it has a giant display in the inside.
On the grill.
No, it has
on the
a giant
inside,
super screen display.
It has a huge available screen on the inside, but the grill
the main
also,
talking point.
the grill lights up.
The grill, but they all light up now.
No.
No, I know.
This is all
but
lighted.
this is just like the inevitable progression.
Mercedes started doing
and so I'm not going to like talk about it for that, you know?
Mercedes started doing
big
it with
deal.
the Star, right? And then BMW did the whole light up grill situation. And they thought, no, if we go on more, and they decided to make the slats.
They saw that
LEDs.
Faraday, the brand that doesn't really make cars, has a like screen inside the grill of their new minivan. They wanted to go similar direction.
It is hard not to look at this and think Mercedes is trying to get a bit of a do-over on the bad launch of the EQ vehicles over the last 5 years.
And also, the EQ vehicle I see most often is the GLB, or the EQB, as it were, which is like the smallest one, because I think there is demand for a car in this size class that is electric, and they are trying to seize on that. One interesting thing is, this is also true of the other German manufacturers. They're not going for big power. All the new upstart EV manufacturers just throw more motors and more power at it. They are not really doing that. I mean, like, it's powerful enough.
Well, there's one with 483 horsepower, and they haven't even announced AMG yet.
But that's like normal at this point, which I don't think is bad. It's good that they should be a little bit responsible and optimized for range, but
the range thing is interesting. I read somewhere 400 and some miles of range.
On the WLTP, the European cycle, so call it 300 somewhere, which is competitive. 800 volt electrical architecture, as it should be. Enough horsepower, just like every other GLC.
It looks appealing. I applaud Mercedes for kind of retreating from the EQ thing, which wasn't working, and trying something different, which I think is more rational. Take a regular car you already make and just kind of reshape it a little, like the Macan. However, the Macan EV isn't selling. Why would we think that this will have
Because
any success?
people that are buying the Mercedes EVs, they just want a luxury EV experience. They're not going for like...
Nobody bought the EQE, which was great.
It wasn't an attractive vehicle. It looked too different.
You get my point, though.
It wasn't on the right architecture. They didn't have enough range.
You get my point, though. I just wonder realistically what the market truly is. Again, I applaud them for taking a step back and making a different decision where something was clearly not working. But I really don't necessarily see the market interest in this car.
How many Model Ys did you see around? This would be a competitor. A little bit more expensive, but the same way that the GLC is more expensive than a CR-V.
Well, how many Model Ys do you see around? Fine, but how many any of the others do you see around?
I think that the German manufacturers...
How many ZDXs do you see around?
A decent number.
Well, yeah, because they lease at $299.
Well,
and that's the problem. These cars only move with massive incentives.
And that's going to be a problem when the federal incentives end at the end of this month. But they need to have a product in this segment. They need to have a competitive product in this segment. This, by all accounts, will be a competitive product in this segment.
It is.
Also, Europe is a better market for them on this. This is a large SUV by European standards, but nevertheless.
What, Norway?
Yeah.
You think Norway? because they can sell a lot of these in Norway. They're going to.
Hey, it's dark there in the winter. You got a lot of lights on the front.
Especially Northern Europe has done a better job of converting to EVs, and this is it's a competitive space. And the GLC had an EV counterpart, and it needed to be updated.
On that subject, move on to the next news story.
I've got to bring these back up. Brunt workwear boots. If you've been listening for a while now, you know that I wore my Brunt Marins at Spa in Belgium this past summer. Spa is a swamp when it rains, and these boots kept my feet dry, warm, and comfortable all weekend long. No break-in period, no blisters, just straight comfort out of the box. I even wore them in the Bois Jacques Forest, the site of easy company stand in the Battle of the Bulge against the Germans. Climbing around the foxholes and in the mud, these boots didn't just hold up, they made the experience possible. And that's a memory that I will carry forever. And these boots were a part of it. And that's the point. Brunt built these boots for real work, not just fashion. The founder, Eric Girard, grew up in a blue-collar neighborhood. His buddies were in the trades and told him that the big brands had stopped caring. Boots were either uncomfortable or they just fell apart. So he built Brunt from the ground up to be different. Every boot is named after one of the guys he grew up with. Real people with real jobs. And the Marins I wear, they're hands down the most comfortable boots I've ever owned. And if they're not right for you, Brunt will even let you send them back. No other brand does that. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands cutting corners, and you've worked too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. They built something better, boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. And for a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt when you use the code CARS, that's C-A-R-S, at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use the code CARS, and you're good to go. And after you order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor and let them know that it was from me and this show.
BMW.
Yes, so BMW, not to be outdone,
Go ahead.
BMW announced that they have the iX3 that's coming. This car is interesting, going to be the NA5 chassis. This car is coming to the United States in the summer. Yeah, it's a BMW person. This car is coming to the US in the summer of 2026, and this car allegedly is going to start at under 60 grand.
To be clear, this is the BMW's direct competitor to the car that we were just talking about. So they're close competitors.
Right, and similar with range, this is a 108 kilowatt hour battery, about 400 miles of range. They're saying that it's going to have even better battery technology to up that to 559 miles. And this is the Neue Klasse stuff they've been teasing for a little while. They said they're going to incorporate this technology into 40 new models by 2027.
I know, that was wild.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I mean, I also think this is a pretty compelling car. And shockingly, a more restrained front end from BMW, which is a rare
like the
thing.
overall look too. The rear is a little weird, but I think it looks cool. I think it's generally like a cool, neat, kind of like a neat, like modern, cool, exciting design.
Less blobby than the GLC will.
Yeah.
Well, we asked for smaller grills and they delivered, which is rare. That BMW
very like
listens.
old.
I agree, less blobby. This actually looks like a modern, like kind of futury sort of take on this whole thing.
And similar thing to the Mercedes, there will be M versions of this, they said, going for it, but of course not yet. But nonetheless, I think this is a pretty compelling car. It looks cool.
The iX, as Doug is the only person that ever says, but is true, is a compelling product.
Very compelling.
It doesn't have quite enough range to be really compelling, but they improved it with the refresh. This will too. The GLC will be fine, acceptable as well. If it gets over 400 miles of range, that would be segment leading. The Q6 e-tron has just shy
which, by the way, they really are insistent, 400 miles of range, which would be really cool.
Yeah, that's competitive. I mean, it's finally the Germans coming out with competitive EV SUVs.
Yeah, right when the market says that they don't want electric cars.
Welcome to product life cycle timing.
It is interesting, though. I would have argued that they could have done this a while ago.
Yeah, they should have.
They wanted to. All the Germans took such a slow play approach to the electric cars, and they wanted to kind of ease in and not give people the big power right away, and not give people the big range right away, and like just see if they could kind of gatekeep that at price points. And Tesla did all that immediately, and as a result, just like owned and owns the whole segment.
At the same time, I do think there is some pent up demand for luxury-ish or like near luxury EV SUVs. The Acura ZDX isn't a compelling product. It's a Blazer.
But I can name a lot of these. The Q4. I mean, there's a lot.
The Q4 was. You've seen a Q4. That's all I'm going to say.
What's your point? Like my point is,
I think there is demand for good products from these manufacturers to compete with the X3, with the regular GLC, which do sell well. I think there is some percentage that are willing to go to EV if there's a compelling product.
We are starting to see the rise of the first really good electric vehicles.
From
I
Germany.
will say
From Germany, yeah.
From Germany and Sweden, the EX90 is the first compelling. Like there are some good. I know you don't like the EX90, but it's a great vehicle.
It's a great vehicle that's not compelling, but
Well,
iX is good. Like
I find this car to be pretty compelling.
I think it's pretty cool, and it's going to be
Kennan will
fast.
own an EV.
465 horsepower.
Well,
it's going to be
this
real.
is an R3. I really like that. I
love
like
it.
Speaking of Euro electrics, we got another debut this week. This was
Whoa.
a big
It was
debut.
a big week for debut.
What is this thing?
this is a
Filippo?
Polestar 5.
I didn't read much about this. This is a sedan.
So, yes, it is.
Talk
It's a
about
sedan that does
meeting
not
the
have a
market.
rear window, by the way. There's no rear
Once
window.
I saw that it was a sedan, I just was kind of like, I'm good. Yeah, there's no rear when I'm looking.
The reason this is both news and not,
But it has
news,
it has a full glass roof.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
And so what
And
they
then the
do
window
is you should see this. They stop at the window. Where the window would be, they're like, now we're gonna
it's
that's done.
fascinating. So Polestar has a bunch of other vehicles that they've been teasing for forever, that they've been said are coming out that might be for sale in other markets like China. This is the latest one, and it's like a Grand Tour EV. Has all the power in the world, has all the range in the world. No single human will buy one.
Right. What's the range?
It's actually not that much. It's 416, which is fine. But
US EPA?
That's a good question. I believe so, yeah. And 872 horsepower. It's like they're like flagship
It's like a
sedan
Taycan.
for a market that doesn't want a flagship sedan.
Can I tell you about the Taycan? I don't know if you saw this, but the other day, last night, I went on Zillow in Anchorage. You saw this whole thing?
I did. I ignored it, but I saw it.
I went on Zillow in Anchorage, and I found a house in Anchorage currently listed for sale that has an indoor tennis court, an indoor basketball court, an indoor swimming pool, an indoor hot tub, pool table. I mean, it's cold, and you want to snuggle up with Filippo.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want in this house.
Wow.
So I was like, I could move to Anchorage for this house. And I started looking at the Porsche dealer. And the Porsche dealer in Anchorage still has a leftover brand new 2023 Taycan. This is a 23. The 26 models are coming any day now.
So it's had 2 birthdays.
At least.
Yep.
Right, because it could have come out. It could be in the fall of 22.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
Like that car could have been sitting there already for 3 years, and regardless, it will be soon. 23 Taycan, and it's got like a 140 sticker, and they're offering it for like 103. But I think 60 buys that car.
Yep.
The question is, when did they punch it and start the warranty?
Yep.
And how did this dealer in Alaska get screwed with a 2-wheel drive Porsche Taycan?
The cheapest one.
Anyway, my point with this is, in Alaska, they can't sell Taycans, and in the rest of the world, they can't sell Polestar 5s. Do you feel...
I mean, to be clear, it just came out. The Polestar 4 also doesn't have a rear window and is more competitive.
Do you
Yeah,
feel
but I don't need a
sad?
crystal ball to know.
Do you feel sad, Filippo, about what's happened to the Polestar brand?
That's a
They just-
Volvo.
I
I
feel
feel
couldn't get there.
confused by the Polestar brand. I mean,
No.
the Polestar 2 was really competitive, but then tariffs made it and exited the market, basically.
And indeed, it's no longer on
It's
sale.
a Chinese brand, despite their affiliation with Volvo. Volvo was purchased by Geely, which is a Chinese brand, and Polestar is an offshoot of that.
But
just
it's
like
not a
Lincoln Co.
Chinese
is.
brand. Like it's a Volvo brand. But it has
That's
been
developed and built in China.
It
Yeah.
has been a failure since day one.
The Polestar 1 was a failure.
Polestar 1 was a
looked
failure.
good
Too
though.
expensive.
The Polestar 2 became a failure,
What was not a failure, then tariffs made it a failure. Polestar 3, also an appealing vehicle.
but is only
see
available
anywhere.
with massive incentives because no one has any interest in it. And now they're coming out with sedans.
This will be sold in the U.S. 300 something mile range for the high performance one, by the way. I don't think it's a vehicle that's developed for the U.S. market.
We look at these cars and we see that's true, but are there markets where these are successful?
Yeah, China still has a sedan market.
The,
Why
the
would you buy
Lucid
a car?
Air, the Lucid Air shows up, has
Love the
horrible.
Lucid Air.
I love it too. I do. I truly do. It's not
It's
successful.
the coolest. I want 500 miles of range, and the Lucid Air is the only one that does it, but I'm too cheap.
I agree. I think there's a lot of
Also,
great
I
stuff
don't
about
know.
Lucid Air. However,
3 mile long.
it is not a successful car.
Yeah, no.
And the Taycan has not been a huge hit. The Audi e-tron GT.
But all of those, the Lucid Air exclusive, some of these the Chinese market still loves sedans, and they love luxury sedans, and that's where I think this is built for.
great. Sell it in China.
Yeah, but they
Certainly won't be successful here or in
No.
Europe, is my suspicion.
No, can you imagine?
No.
Maybe like 3 in Germany, 4 in
Well,
Norway.
it'll sell a little in Sweden because it's like the Swedish politicians will be driving this around.
That's true.
Next one.
Yeah.
That's something they won't be driving around. The new Porsche 911 Turbo S.
New Porsche 911 Turbo
It's
S
a
is out.
hybrid.
It
So-
has 700 horsepower.
700 horsepower, yeah. So this car, so it does 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, 0 to 125 in 8.4, which is ridiculous. Now, of course,
Yeah.
this is not It's the new one. It's not terribly different looking than the
No, of course not.
one,
But the
that's the
Duck
beauty.
2 isn't terribly different looking.
No,
either.
exactly. And the notable things about this car is that it uses the e-turbos that Porsche has developed, which are cool. It uses electronic motors to spin them up faster, so you have less lag, and thus makes it more. Makes the car even faster, which I think is a genius solution for that. The thing of this car, it also put an unofficial lap time around the ring where they were doing it in pre-testing of 7 minutes and 3.9 seconds, which is fast
Way
for a
faster than
road
Ford.
car. Nonetheless, this car, like I think they said, it's going to start. The Turbo S is going to start around $272,000 for the coupe and $286 for the convertible, $208 for the normal turbo, $214 for the cab, respectively. It's such the 911 Turbo is one of the great Swiss Army knives of sports cars. You can do everything with it. It's pretty subtle. You kind of, it's like you have to know to know. I mean, again, truly between the previous one and this, and honestly, even for you, the 991 and this might be hard for you to tell. But it's just remarkable how exceptional this car is.
You know what it can't do? Hold its value.
That is true, but it depreciates less than other cars.
GTSs don't lose value. GT3s don't lose value. The turbos are so expensive.
You think they lose that
really
much value? I mean, compared to other...
Yeah, we sell 991 turbos now for $100, which is
That's true.
an unbelievable bargain.
The non-sticks from prior generations do not hold their value.
Unbelievable bargain. Pull up a 991 turbo.
but
they've actually climbed a
There's
little
also
bit
no
recently.
992 turbo manuals. The 991 turbo was the last one that
No,
had
there's
a
no
manual.
991 turbo manual.
997
were they all
997
fully...
turbo is
okay.
where it all came to an end.
Yeah, I mean...
But these cars, I mean, yeah, the turbos don't hold their values. 2000 GT3s from this era are still at sticker. These cars are at less than half.
Why are we calling that 2020 whatever?
Dude, this is an absolute. God, look at that.
I mean, that is a bargain.
Why don't you have one of these?
Why
Felipe?
don't I?
What is this?
Because I don't do... It's
a tip.
Yeah, it's a PDK.
Yeah, but
it's an
I
amazing
want
car.
I understand, but Filippo likes manual.
I like
You know
my
what the
manual
problem with
guy.
the 911 turbos? Not that many people have been in them, and they don't realize how perfect they are. Once you've been in them, everybody I know who's been a 911 turbo guy won't go at anything else. Go back, click on that silver coupe. No, there, that one. What's the deal with this one? Can I have this car? Is this still available? Scroll down.
No,
This
it's
looks like
sold,
it's in
I'm sorry.
Atlanta. I'll take this one. Oh, Baton Rouge. The only 911 turbo in Baton Rouge, I'll tell you that. Jesus.
They do lose value, right? It's just insane the performance that they deliver. Everybody should buy Turbo S's instead of GT3.
But of course, everybody knows that the 911 Turbo S is a fast car. It's not a surprise. The thing that I thought was very funny, because I was reading through the press release, and right there in the bottom, it was talking about Porsche designers releasing a watch that goes along with it, and which I'm like, yeah, great, of course. And they're calling it, oh my god, they're calling it the Chronograph 911 Turbo S, which is just like. But the thing I found out, there's a configurator for the watches.
Oh my.
That you can go to, and you can design your watch. Now, obviously, everybody knows about the 911, like the configurator for Porsche.
Are there options?
They even have it for their watches.
These
which
Porsche
is
people, you
ridiculous.
just can't stop.
I also learned that they can do PTS colors for
Oh,
your
joking. God.
And the watch, these aren't the watches specifically for this, but the prices start at $11,292 for the Chronograph 911 Turbo.
I would love Porsche so much if it wasn't for
They can't
this
they can't help it.
this sort of thing.
I think
Like the deviated stitching and I would love Porsche so much, but their culture.
Yeah,
They just sample watches.
They know their market really well. But I thought that was the funniest thing about the whole announcement. And I love watches.
There was
clear,
a
but even I'm
time.
like,
There
that's
was a
bit
time. You know, I was playing tennis today. I walked out, and you know what was in the parking lot? A 993 Targa
Wow.
stick.
Wow.
There was a time when Porsche would, when you saw a new Porsche and you didn't think to yourself, that person is trying to show off. There was a time when it was a car for an enthusiast who enjoyed driving, and that was their only thing, and they weren't focused on what color their door handles were or whether they had a globe timer or a chronograph, whatever the hell.
And remind me, at that time, Porsche was profitable. Oh no, they were bankrupt.
I don't know. Porsche's making more money because they did the Starbucks thing. They created this sort of like beauty around what they do. Like there's this, everybody knows there's these like code words that, and there's like this group that like if you're in, you're in. Meanwhile, Carrera GT is the greatest car ever made, and they were all silver. We have to move on from news. We've been doing news forever, and God, we got into watches.
yes, I got us there.
We need to move on to the talk car segment. I have a lot of talking cars.
The cars talk?
The cars talk today.
Wow.
Well, like Kit.
Fair it is.
The Talk Cars segment is brought to us by I don't know. I didn't think of anything.
Oh.
My Globemaster.
The only thing that's bringing us is shame.
You guys know I've been wearing True Classic for a while now, and I'll be honest, these shirts have completely ruined all of my old ones. The fit is just dialed, a little more tailored where you want it, relaxed where you need it. No weird bunching, no stiff fabric, just a clean, easy look that works for real life. Especially when you're driving a wide variety of different cars, from those with Porsche GT bucket seats to the very comfortable E39 M5 Sport seats. These shirts work great for driving comfort. And here's the best part. They don't charge designer prices for their stuff. That's been True Classic's mission from the start. Premium, comfortable clothing that doesn't blow your budget. Clearly, it works. Over 25 million shirts have been sold to more than 5 million customers with over 200,000 5-star reviews to back it up. Lately, I've been checking out their new product line too. It's not just t-shirts anymore. They've got polos, joggers, hoodies, even underwear, and all of it has the same put it on and it feels just right vibe. So forget the overpriced designer stuff, skip the cheap throwaway shirts that fall apart in the wash. True Classic is built for comfort, built to last, and built to help you look good without having to try too hard. You can find them at Target, Costco, Sam's Club, and on Amazon, but the best way is to head to trueclassic.com/cars and grab a few for yourself.
All right, Joy. Move on to the first picture of the Talk Car segment. I drove a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was Friday. I drove out to Palm Springs, where Ford was hosting the launch of the new Mustang GTD, and I drove my Ford GT because every time I only say yes to going to Palm Springs because I can bring my Ford GT out there, and I drove the Ford GTD and I drove the Ford GT non-D.
Wow, non-D. Were the engineers into you bringing the Ford GT?
I didn't like park it at the hotel. Like I found a separate parking lot for it.
Well, that's a shame.
They would have been so thrilled to see it.
No, I don't. I wasn't on like a main wave of the event. I kind of snuck in between waves so I could get the video that I needed to do, and so there weren't like people there. But
How was the diesel version of the Ford GT?
I'm not allowed to talk about my experience, but I'll tell you this. You're aware of the suspension thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a window in the car. You can see the suspension.
Multimatic suspension.
I got to tell you, I'm not allowed to talk about how it drives, but I got to tell you, I think it looks so cool.
Yeah,
the wide body
does.
and this opening here and the wing, which is mounted on the C-pillar. I didn't know any of this stuff until I did the research. Like, I haven't been paying that much attention to this car for some reason. And like, I did the research to go out there. Holy crap. Yep. This thing is ballin'. Now, it's the same cost. These two cars are the same cost.
Or a very high mile Ford GT.
My Ford GT and this GTD cost the same.
Yeah.
And that's a tough pill to swallow, I think. Like, it's a lot of money for a new Mustang. I told the guy, without revealing how I feel about the driving, I told the guy that I would be interested in the car if it was a manual, and he laughed at me. So I don't think a manual's coming. That's my assumption. But it's a lot of money for a Mustang, regardless of how it drives.
But it's not just a Mustang.
It's very special. And getting up with it, I realized just how special it is. This is a really, like, there's so many cool tricks to this car. You know the trunk doesn't open? The wing is mounted on the C-pillar, and if you think about what that means, it means that the trunk doesn't open.
Right. Yeah.
And so the trunk...
If only we're a hatchback.
It's not that the trunk doesn't open, it's that you can open it, but you literally physically remove the painted trunk panel. I did this. You press the button on the key fob to pop it, like a normal trunk.
Wow, really?
But then there are pins you push, and then you pull it off, and like... You have to put it somewhere. And then it's open, but what's back there is the cooling for all the hydraulics. When you open it up, there's a radiator back there for cooling, because there's so many hydraulic components to the car that are like constantly moving.
Car, yeah.
And the transmission is in the trunk. The transaxle, as Kennan would say. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. The whole car is super trick.
It is. If you want to see a driving impression, Chris Harris recently did one with Max Verstappen where they went and drove.
What, they're doing drives? They told me no drives. What do you think of the GTD?
I think it's really cool. I saw it at Quail last year when it was released, and like just looking at the suspension uprights and how beautiful all the billet work is, and it's an exceptionally well put together car. That said, it is still a Mustang, and so it's not in the most crazy wrapper of all cars, but nonetheless, if you're just about the driving, which you can't talk about.
They did a pretty good job though of making it look like. I mean, this
they borrowed a lot from the GT3 RS, like having those open and kind of the turbo-ish thing behind the.
It turns out it competes in it.
Right.
class of
This
racing
is
that was
essentially
just-
Ford. I asked the Ford guy, I was like, dude, why did you guys build this? Like, what was going on? And they basically, like, Jim Farley was walking through, saw a GT3 car, said, can we do a road car of it? I'm sure there was some component of Porsche makes a ton of money doing this.
Yep.
Like, why don't we try?
It's built in Canada, right? It's built by Multimatic.
It's built by Multimatic, so I guess it must be built in Canada. Okay, next Talk Cars segment. Please move on. Oh, I don't know why I don't know what this is. I parked next to a 911 Targa at the mall the other day. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, that person probably got in, didn't even look at your car, and like, God, I'm running late.
No, they
No,
bought a
they-
Targa.
That person did not. look.
That type of person doesn't look at their watch to see the time. Their watch is
No, they just look
don't
at-
know how.
They look, at, the
look
watch,
at their phone.
There is someone who's wearing a watch that's not even set. They just admire the aesthetics and get in.
They bought a white Targa, so that's probably not true. But can we talk about the Countryman in the far back?
Yeah, new Countryman. Still,
That's all I want to say.
I parked next to this Target, and I was all excited because it was like, yeah. He like parked all the way over, and and mirrors were folded up. It was all.
That's what happens when you lock a modern
Well,
car.
if you have the
You
set to
can
that,
tell. It has the aura.
he was all excited, Targa, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. But he didn't. I came back to the car before he did. I don't know why this is a thing. Sean wanted us to show the photo because it's a cool looking.
Oh,
Right, our
yeah,
producer
yeah.
felt that the world has to see this was his exact phrase.
Carrera GT and a Targa.
Something.
Imagine you walk out to your Targa and there's a Carrera GT. I'd flip out. Be like, what is happening here?
I would lose my mind. But like I said, this person went, go get home.
I wish they had. Okay.
Wow, we're a lot of Doug stories here.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I don't know why, there's so much right now. I was driving across the country.
This was months ago.
A month ago.
Eh.
And I'm in Oklahoma-ish. And I come across this. You see this?
That's Ford Everest.
This is a Ford Everest. And it hits me. Why
The Ford Everest?
Why doesn't Ford sell this vehicle in the United States of America?
No, it makes no sense. I agree.
Pull up a Ford Everest Tremor. Type in Ford Everest Tremor.
Did they sell in Mexico? Did they sell
I've
them in
never
like
seen
Australia
one
and
in
other
San Diego, so they probably don't. sell.
Yeah, right.
Look at this. Dude, it's based on the Ranger. This is a Forerunner.
Yeah.
This is a Forerunner. Why
Yeah.
don't they do this? And I honestly, previous Everest models looked kind of BS.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't that into it. I didn't realize until I saw the one on the truck that new Everest models look like this. This is cool as hell.
Yeah, that's real
Why
cool.
are you not selling this in the United States? What possible
Yep.
idiot reason have you come up with to not sell this in the United States?
It does look awesome.
The Forerunner is such a killer, and it's based on their midsize truck, the Tacoma. Well, guess what? Ford has a midsize truck that they already sell here. And all they do, they put a rear on it and they sell it like a Forerunner. Why don't they do this?
It would be so competitive. I don't get it.
What is going on here? Go to another picture of it.
I bet they I legitimately,
Look at that.
it's hard to explain why they don't. Obviously, they have the Explorer, which is a similar size.
No,
and
this is a two-row. The Edge is canceled years ago. The
year
Edge hasn't
ago.
been on the market in years.
A year.
What is
But
going on?
I'm with you. Like, I'm sure they think, okay, this is cannibalize sales from the Bronco, but it would also add sales. So just do it.
But like,
I'm with you.
Would it
We're-
cannibalize
we're-
sales from the Bronco?
a little bit.
People want to lift off roof. The Bronco's one thing. This is a Forerunner. Like, give us this car. It's so clear now that
know,
it
agreed.
looks like this and is this. The previous Everest was a little wimpy, if I'm honest. Like, if you look at the picture of the previous, it was a little wimpy. This is not wimpy.
Also, the non-Tremor trim, also still a little.
Maybe, but like,
But who cares?
Maybe, but that's
Sell
also
Tremor.
true of lesser Forerunners,
Yeah.
right? The TRD off-roads are like,
Yeah. They should 100% sell it.
well, it doesn't make any sense. And I realized that I don't know why I was driving along and saw this one on this truck. I don't know what it was doing in the middle of the country. It had a Michigan manufacturer plate. The rest of the cars in the truck were also all Fords, but they weren't foreign market ones. And I realized, like, this is what the Everest looks now. This car should be sold in the United States. If this podcast makes one contribution to the world, and it may not, I hope that it's that we get the Everest to sell in the
I
States.
feel like we should remind Mr. Jim Farley that Toyota has 17 trillion SUVs, and sure, they slightly compete with each other, the Land Cruiser and 4Runner especially, and it's okay. They still sell a lot of each one of them.
Plus, how hard could it be to homologate this for the U.S.? You sell the Ranger. The engine, the platform, it's all the same.
Yep.
There's nothing different. How hard could this be?
Yep.
Sell the damn car here. It's a Forerunner.
Yep.
Don't you want another Forerunner?
Yeah.
They could call it the 5.
We're not going to talk about the Bill of Rights.
All right,
but
all right. This is the best story of
we
them
got to move
all.
on.
This is the best story of them all. I was in Monterey. A lot of highlights of Car Week, but the number one highlight was seeing the California Bill of Rights license plate.
Was that only
did.
available in 1991?
Yes.
It was like a 200-year celebration.
And they only issued
1791.
which was the Bill of Rights. You know what's funny? Everybody thinks 1776 is America's
that was
birthday.
that was
Independence.
Declaration of Independence.
And then the Constitution was 1787.
Yeah.
So,
So 1791 had some other date.
yeah.
Some
Is it
other-
where California became a...
No, I'm
No.
not really sure. I think maybe the Bill of Rights was finished in 1791. But anyway, the point is
They
this
were
happened.
ratified in 1791.
There you go. And no other state commemorated this in any way, and I'm not entirely sure what its significance was to California, nor why they chose to commemorate it with a special license plate,
And put the
which
Liberty
is quite
Bell on
ugly.
it.
And why the Liberty Bell is on it. They all ended in U.S.
I forgot that the Bill of Rights wasn't part of the original Constitution.
I've only seen two.
Right?
years.
I've only seen two of these in the wild, these license plates, and I would
What
give
was-
anything for one.
Yeah, great.
They go on eBay, they sell for like $1,000.
Can they still be used?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That'd be legit.
I know, and this one is being used. It was on some old car.
But what we saw in the prior picture is that your Carrera GT has press photographer plates. This beats press
A
photographer
legitimate member of the media. I can't believe that this is even being discussed.
plates. No, I'm supportive.
Okay, we got to talk about Nick.
No,
this is
can
the
we
most
talk about
important thing. No, we got to talk about Nick.
We did talk
Folks,
about
this
Nick.
is the
Love Nick.
most important thing that's happened this week in the automotive sphere. Nick, crazy Nick, as you know him.
And boys,
He's on this podcast when they're out of town. He sometimes comes on our videos. God knows why. I think it's because he doesn't have anything to do.
Oh, he's crazy.
He's created
He is crazy.
his own YouTube channel, which is his name, Nick Roshan, and he's made some videos. And you got to go and watch them.
They're so good.
They're interesting.
Unhinged.
They're unhinged. They're Nick. They're very Nick.
Yeah.
They're very good in the sense that they are Nick.
I see Nick regularly, and the days that I miss seeing Nick, just go watch a video.
I got to be honest too. The videos are Nick on like 7.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like
I know.
IRL Nick. Like
Nick is-
he definitely can't say some of the stuff he says in real life
Oh,
in the
for
videos.
sure. Yeah.
But like even then, like he's not quite as crazy in the videos. But they're
Yeah.
still great and they're still worth watching.
Yeah,
You
agreed.
agree.
I'm disappointed he didn't put the accent mark on Murcielago in the title.
So he's got one that just came out and he's got another one. Nick has been in our content. We've been doing stuff with him. I think we'll probably continue to do stuff with him.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, he's now got his own stuff, and I want you all to go to his channel and honestly stop watching my videos and start watching Nick's videos. They are more exciting.
You will learn less, but they are
And
more
you will
exciting.
feel shock.
No, not
The
that
production
much.
quality is somehow worse than mine, which is hard. But nonetheless, this is good, legitimate content.
Yep,
Don't you agree?
I do fully. I watched that video today.
Yeah, that's good.
I
Nick
can
is-
only imagine. What do you think hits the cutting room floor for Nick when he's edited?
Very little.
Very little. Very little.
All right, can we talk about other things that are exciting?
What do you got?
All right, in just about a month, Kennan and I will be at Road Atlanta for IMSA's Petit Le Mans race. It's a 10-hour endurance race that includes cars like the Mustang GTD, probably.
Mustang GT3.
Yeah, but that's like the same.
Well, okay.
Couple of things. You will have a car corral or cars and coffee that's in the paddock. So right next to where all the teams have their race cars, we will be there. We're going to have a community post, and we have an events page now that has event. We'll have a community post where you, if you are nearby, if you want to bring your car to that, submit it. Tell us a little bit of information about it, and we'll be able to pick like 40-ish people.
40?
40-ish cars.
Why
to
can't we
come
do like
with us.
200?
'Cause we don't have the space yet.
Yet. You think next year we'll have
Keep that in mind.
Ooh.
But bring out your cool car, submit it at the community post.
Let me ask
we
you a
will
question.
also
Who
be
gets to choose which cars come?
personally, I do.
Oh, so it's gotta be-
I have input into this. Don't worry.
folks, if you got a Saab 9.3,
Okay,
submit it.
at
'cause
the
you're
last one there was a Saab 9.3 Vegan in
But it was
that
a
yellow
Vegan.
color, and it was so cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
That was a car of the
50 of
show.
them in the world.
That was a car of the show.
less.
There were other good cars, but that was a car of the show.
All right.
You know, I got
Some people
passed
say that
on the
675.
freeway yesterday. I was in the Palisade, and I got passed by someone going hard in a Saab 9.3.
What a dream.
Yeah.
Vegan, regular.
Regular, but
Oh.
it was the hatchback one, the 99. Aftermarket exhaust, aftermarket wheels. He was
NG
living the dream.
Saab 9.3
Maybe
for
it
the
was a
record.
little bit on fire and he thought going faster would put it out.
No.
They're
NG
reliable.
793. We also will have a charity auction up on Cars and Bits. The first experience auction we've ever done, because we're going to be giving away in partnership with IMSA a couple of VIP tickets. And the charity auction will also include dinner with Kennan and I on one of the days around the race. And a bunch of other extras, a lap around the track with a professional race driver, a pit lane path, a bunch of other cool stuff with all proceeds going to charity. So check that out too.
I would like to have dinner with you guys.
I'll see you tonight.
I mean, bid, you know? Bid, and we'll see what happens.
You know, I had dinner with Kennan and Filippo last night.
Yeah.
And
God, each other way too often.
We do. It's not-
and it was a great experience. It was an absolutely great experience.
It always is.
Filippo talked about his 500 Abarth.
I didn't. I should have.
No, actually,
so-
distinctly did not. Talk.
Rode at Petit Le Mans, which is the crown jewel of the IMSA series season.
At Road Atlanta.
Road Atlanta, which is the crown jewel racetrack in the state of Georgia.
October 10th and 11th.
October 10th and 11th. There will be a roadside, trackside cars and coffee.
In the paddock. It's
So
going to be really cool.
in the
Legitimately,
paddock.
come by.
So let me ask you a question about the paddock.
Yeah.
You're there doing the cars and coffee while the race is happening?
Yeah.
It's quite loud.
The entire time. It'll be
10
more
hours.
quiet
10
than
hours of
last time.
Filippo.
10 hours of Filippo.
You don't even need the dinner. You actually going to be at the race for 10 hours?
Yeah.
I've been to Petit Le
I'll be
Mans.
there for longer.
I've been to Petit Le Mans 5 times probably in my life, and I've never even come close to staying for the entirety of the race.
But
You're not
I'm
a race
excited to be there and meet
It's
everybody.
long, dude.
It's a long
Yeah.
day.
Well, yeah. Hardcore endurance, baby.
Last time I was there, I swear to God, racing and Georgia combined into one. I have a picture of a guy who was camping because it's a long race and people camp and like
Yeah.
grill and all
Yeah,
that.
of course.
And there's a ton of like green space where you can just
Yeah,
kind of
lots
park
of-
and do that.
yeah.
Camping with a Dodge pickup and a Testarossa.
Wow.
It's an amazing photo.
Wow.
I'll
Well,
pull it
if
up.
that
We'll look at
guy
it.
is listening, bring your
the
Testarossa.
Do we have anything else?
Yeah. One other thing where you can see Kennan and I.
Oh.
This is purely by having this. Next Wednesday.
Wednesday.
We'll be at the Petersen. They're doing a trivia night. If you go down a little
This
bit.
is the 17th?
This is the 17th. Kennan and I will be emceeing this event. So you get to both suffer and then enjoy the parts where Kennan's talking.
This is not my Countach on this picture. Do you want to know how you can tell?
So many ways.
Got a white interior.
No. What's the easiest way to tell? The front bumper is not scraped.
That is true.
The white interior is the other good one.
Doug's is a little ragged.
Every time I see a picture of Countach, I look to see if the front bumper is scraped. It's like, oh, it's mine, or no, it's not. Don't even need to look at the interior.
Come do some 80s and 90s trivia.
So it's 80s and 90s trivia, not car related?
No, car related.
Oh, it's only car related.
I haven't. We don't know.
We don't know, but you're going to MC
TBD.
it. You're going to MC it. Have you ever MC'd anything before?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next we gotta move on. Next we gotta move on to the market report. However, we don't have any time for the market report.
Shame. True. Shame, but true. Yeah.
Except your market report story. I want to talk about the Trans Am. Can you pull up the Trans Am?
We sold the Trans Am yesterday for $26,000.
Yeah.
This was a nice Trans Am. WS6 is the one you
I
want.
wanted it so bad.
One owner, unmodified, 22,000 miles.
This is such a cool.
26 grand is a deal for that. At the
It's a
same
total
time,
deal.
it's so expensive for a Firebird Trans Am.
No, dude. I agree with you that it's both a deal and too expensive.
And I just I'm like conflicted at heart.
I
here.
remember I worked at the exotic car dealership I worked at, had one come in and it had 41 miles on it.
Yeah,
It was yellow.
exactly.
I got to drive it unbelievably high.
Pull up the nostrils.
But we sold that in the 40s.
Yeah. I mean,
Pull up the
these are
nostril
worth
picture.
money.
Look at these nostrils.
So I think
Look at these nostrils. These nostrils make an F50 look like a tasteful nose job.
yeah, this is a lot.
Look at this.
But that's what
They
you
are-
want.
Of course.
Oh, of course.
Did it have ram air?
Yeah,
Must
that
have,
was
right?
ram air.
Well,
The
yeah,
ram air,
WS6
right?
is a ram air. That
Yeah.
was the ram air hood.
I thought it was an option even on WS6.
No, maybe early ones, but not by. This must be an 02.
Yeah.
Yeah, not by then. And it just looks. This was muscle. Like this wasn't them trying to retro muscle. This was them trying to still be muscle. I love this interior too. It is so GM. It is
so
just,
so
insultingly bad.
So
yeah.
GM.
I love this car so much. I have still to this day never done a video on a 4th gen. And I
Really?
want to so bad because they're not in California.
No.
These cars don't exist
Boy,
in
they're not.
California.
It's a Midwestern hero.
and or the case of this car, Florida.
Yeah.
I just like, what's a low mile C5 Corvette? I guess it's the same cost for like a regular Corvette.
I would so much rather have this. I love
Same.
the C5. It's a good car, but this is way more special. The power was not that different. And
Same
it's just
engine,
like
right?
so baller looking. Like
It just is. It's like, is it cheap? Is it expensive? I don't know.
I love a good WS6. To this day, when I see a WS6 on the road, I turn my head and watch it go by and think to myself, that guy's got 3 divorces. but this is a cool car.
When was the last time you saw one?
You rarely do.
Right.
And now it's not, they're kind of past the 3 divorce guys. That was true when I was a kid, but now it's like on to people who are like really enthusiasts of this
Totally.
type of car.
Just saw a guy getting a pack of Marlboros.
Yep.
Think about it. It's like,
When I
hey,
was a
still got
kid,
the WS6.
that wasn't even a joke when I was a kid. That was who had those
I
cars.
remember.
Yep.
I remember. They just had those really foamy beer koozies that they're out. You know, it's like, I could just picture everything.
I saw a Grand Am the other day.
What then?
The second class.
Oh, the pointy one? 94 to 98?
Yeah. That was a vibe.
Well, a little Pontiac pun from him.
Uh-huh.
Okay, other market report I want to talk about before we get to questions, the Cadillac ATS-V. We just sold a Cadillac ATS-V coupe for 28, and I started looking at these.
Yeah.
And it got me a thinking.
Ooh.
Do you know what this car is and has and is?
Yeah.
It's a 6-cylinder.
It's a twin turbo V6, 450 horsepower. It's a lot.
It's a 6-cylinder, I will grant you, but it is a twin turbo. Have you ever driven one?
No, only a CT5V.
It's a little different.
Now I will say, if you want a manual transmission sedan,
No, I've never driven a Jaguar X-Type, only an XJ220.
Well, that's the Kennan way. But I will say, if you for the sedans, if you want a manual transmission sedan, your options are WRX, CT5V, CT4V.
Well,
What else? Like
that's new.
current
That's
production
new.
brand.
This is old. This is a fairly recent new car, and I have to say that now these seem to. I don't know why there's a Camaro in this, but they seem to now be running in the low 30s to high 20s.
Yeah, which is a lot of car for the money.
Biden's one there.
Biden's went for 78. I
But
just think,
go to the 29.5 one.
yeah. Well, it was modded, like et cetera. Like I'm sure that turned off some people. It looks like the kind of mods that probably they deleted some emissions equipment. And I noticed it has Tennessee plates. Probably wouldn't be legal in a lot of states. But nonetheless, the point is, at 30 for a 465 horsepower car, everybody talks about CT5V Blackwing, CT4V Blackwing, which are still very expensive cars that have held their value quite well. To me, at this 465
Yeah.
horsepower, this is still a really legitimate car. I think it was 443 horsepower, wasn't it?
443, yeah, right. 464.
That's a real number. Like these
Yeah.
are real cars, and they're modern enough. It isn't the CT4V Blackwing. It isn't the CT5V Blackwing.
But
in
it's
terms
still
of,
pretty cool.
It's a
along those lines.
9-year-old car that like still looks. I mean, this looks not
new.
that different from a CT4V Blackwing. I kind of prefer the rear window treatment, the rear brake light treatment on the ATS.
Yep.
I'll be honest, completely. I did not realize that it was what I was talking about. I thought it was the CT4V
Oh, wow.
Blackwing. It's the kind of. It is a lot. Of, there's a lot of the same recipe.
Don't you
but
think this
it
is pretty cool?
a compelling car?
Would you rather have it than an M3, M4? Because those are not dissimilar in price.
I don't know about rather. My presumption is that this is more reliable, and I've owned a lot of AMGs
Yeah.
and M's, and I've owned a couple of V's, and the V's were always more reliable.
Yep, the BMW is nicer inside and probably better, but this is probably more reliable.
I don't know. Given the size too, because they're like B5S4 kind of size cars, a little bigger, but they're not big, right? They're not like modern big old CT5V Blackwing thing. There was a coupe. I prefer the sedan in terms of just practicality. But they're both seem like they're deals as they start to approach the high 20s for 465 horsepower in a good car.
I'm with you.
What about the floors for these in the end?
Yeah,
This one, the modded one, had 81,000 miles on
and
it.
still sold for 30. So they're probably near a floor, which means they're probably not really going to lose that much more value. We've seen with V2s, CTSV, the second gen CTSV, we call them V2s. Me and Felipe
do.
do.
No, I'm from the Midwest. I call it the V2.
Hell yeah. We've seen in the V2s that there is a floor. Like there is a number where these
Absolutely.
cars do not go below.
For a stick one, yeah.
For a stick one, which is what
Especially
I'm advocating for here. Although I think the autos are probably good too. But
I fully agree with you. I don't think that they're like bargains. The M3, the F80 M3 and the F82 M4 are not that dissimilar in price, but I would, at this point, almost rather have an ATS-V.
I wonder if this sounds good, because the M3 and M4 of that generation do not.
I haven't driven one in
Can't make
forever.
them sound good either.
I haven't driven
my
one forever, but I
recollection,
remember
but-
liking it at the time. And I look at the car and
Looks
I
good.
think this still looks good.
It does.
It's still cool. It's still got power that feels like a good amount for a modern, vehicle.
And like 40 more horsepower, 10% more horsepower than the F80 M2, F82 M4.
And they cost like less than a new WRX.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
The people know.
Okay, we got to move on to questions. And remember, you too can ask us questions. You go to Cars and Bits, not Bono. He doesn't ask us questions.
But he could.
He could. You go to
allow
carsandbits.com, you click on the community tab, and then there'll be a post that says, ask your questions. And then you can ask your questions. This week we had some good ones. Not a lot of great ones, but the ones that were great were great. Starting with question from JSturdy388. For Doug, Whistling Diesel hit 10 million subscribers. Hell yeah, he did!
Woo! Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which means that the world is getting a Bugatti durability test. Cost no object. What vehicle would you want a durability test, Whistling style? XJ220.
That would not.
Really?
Oh, imagine.
How that's a 3-minute video.
Right, yeah, because
Yeah,
no
the durability test is driving it.
turning it on.
Do you think
Going down the street.
Right, yeah. Trying to figure out where Don Law's actual address is. That's the durability
I
test
would
here.
love an X220 durability test, an EB110 durability. Like, let's durability test an old school and
Yeah.
like go for it. You know what
I
I'm
love
saying?
that plan. Do you think that it will perform better than a subscriber durability test?
Anyway, those are the cars that I would love to see, like a really like vaunted, beloved 80s or 90s, like a Vector W8 durability test. Like, let's see. We all know that car is beloved, and like, let's see what it looks like getting smashed and lit on fire in a field. You know what I'm saying?
Love that idea.
No one's going to do that, and I'm very curious how Whistlin's going to end up doing this Bugatti durability test.
First, you got to buy one.
They're
Final.
very expensive,
Yeah.
like very expensive.
I assume I'll do better than his subscriber durability test.
You know what? You know what Ed Bolian should do is get in contact with
Sell his Vey.
Cody. No, he should call him and be like, "Look, it sounds like you're going to have some Veyron parts available soon."
Some Chiron part.
Well, no, he's going to do a Veyron durability test.
Chiron.
No, he just said it Bugatti. He never announced which one.
Right,
But you have to
could be a
assume-
Type 37. Could be.
If he was smart, he would buy an old Bugatti because they sell. You can get old Bugattis for like $250 or $300, and he would buy one of those.
Cody does not disappoint his subscribers, except for
some
Well,
recent.
except for- yeah.
I'm not disappointed by any of it. I want to just say Cody has never disappointed me personally.
We're here for all of it.
Anyway, I'm excited, and those are the vehicles that I would do. Okay, next question. This is a good one, and I think you should think of it too.
Okay.
From Aminier. For Doug, in an alternate universe where the Carrera GT, Ford GT, and Countach were only produced with automatic transmissions, but all other cars had their manual, their whatever transmission they had, how would you change your collection? I would not have any of the three for sure, but it's an interesting question.
You know, there's a car that comes to mind that is the value of those three combined.
Yeah, an F40. I guess
Yeah.
I'd have an F40.
Yeah.
If there was never a Carrera
I was
GT,
going to say the answer is you'd have a Ferrari badge in the garage. That's
Yeah.
That's the answer.
if there was never a Carrera GT, I guess I would have got an F40 and probably a Diablo.
Or like a Viper. Because that's like a 4GT
Yeah,
replacement.
Diablo is pretty cool.
Because that would still have kept its transmission.
Yep. And it's a surprisingly decent car to drive. And it is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. So you'd have a Countach.
All right, have an
A
F40.
Diablo.
No, the Countach is gone.
Oh,
I'd
so
have
you-
an F40 and a Diablo, I guess.
That'd be cool.
Damn.
I guess.
That'd be so
I think
real.
that's probably what I would
What would you
do.
drive around in though? Because like the 4GT is your beater.
I know it's sad.
And
A 911, I bet.
No,
I bet
you
I'd get
can't-
like a Targa.
He'd have a Cobra, Terminator Cobra.
Oh.
Mr. Chrome.
Oh.
There you go.
Dream. There you
That would
go.
be baller.
That'd retain
Or
its
WS6.
transmission.
Or
Or
WS6.
WS6. Yeah.
Man, that
Probably
would not fit in.
probably my garage would be sort of similar to that. Maybe not exact. I might have to think about it a little more, but it'd probably sort of similar to that. Same question to you.
Oh.
What if the E39 M5 had never been a manual, but every other car was the same?
It was going to originally have an SMG transmission. They couldn't get it
So
to
was
work
Carrera
in time.
GT.
Yeah, they
So was
just
Carrera GT.
couldn't. Thank God.
Imagine.
I know. We came this close
No,
to death.
Kennan would be such an apologist for the SMG. He would still have an E39.
Oh, no, I'm
They
not
would
an
have an SMG.
I don't
That's
think
not
it would.
true. I don't think I would have liked the car anywhere near as much.
I don't think
because
it would.
otherwise, because to be honest with you, when that car came into my life, like the E55 AMG was what I really wanted.
Oh, yeah.
But
you
because
have
it
that.
had an automatic.
So
and, like,
what would you
ultimately
get if you couldn't get a stick on an E39 M5? I assume you wouldn't still have the car.
No, I probably not. I don't know. That's a really good question.
E55 is a good answer, but you would have gotten rid of it by now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He'd probably-
211.55.
He'd probably have dabbled more. Like, actually, it probably is
Would've been
hard
better.
to Kennan.
Right.
Wow.
The
He
good-
probably
the
would have
goodness.
all sorts of different experiences and interests.
The good,
BMW
right, they would have been
ruined
much
Kennan.
more reliable. Would have spent less money on them probably, and yeah, that's probably true.
Huh.
Probably true. But ultimately, you know, yeah, probably E55 AMGs.
You know what? In both of those worlds, the world would be worse.
Oh, thanks. I think.
Okay, next question from Wazaa. I feel like Doug's got beef with Matt Watson from CarWow. No way! First of all, I don't have beef with anybody. It's hard to explain the level of, well, not caring is one, but also support. Look, the deal is this: we took this big investment in the business. I took a lot of money off the table. I used to be really intense about my kind of rivalries with some of my other creators. I don't feel that way at all anymore. I am super supportive, and I want everybody else to have kind of the same opportunities that I had. And I really, really want like cheer for everybody's success. Matt has done above and beyond better than almost anybody. I personally think he really ought to take his brand and go out and kind of do his own thing a little bit more than he does, which he does already do that. But Matt is great. I've met him. I think he's awesome. I love him. I love every car. I can't think of anybody I hate.
There's an exception.
Do I hate anybody? Who do I hate?
So the guy named Spike Ferrison challenged you to a tennis match.
Spike.
And you've said no. And I consider that to be personal.
I haven't said no to playing
You haven't
tennis
said yes.
with Spike. I just am not going to go to LA to play tennis with a guy. I'm not going to drive 3.5
calm down.
hours. I love Spike. I'll play with him at some point if we're ever in the same place. But no, I truly don't have any. I truly do not have any beef with anybody that I can think of. Is there someone that I should be thinking of? Some people don't like me, which I don't. I don't. I don't necessarily blame them for. There are a lot of people who devoted. There are a lot of people who devoted like real effort to this craft, and a guy with shorts showed up and like did this, and I understand how that would be frustrating. And I can think of 3 or 4 people in the space who are not Doug fans, and I think regardless of the reason they give, that is probably the real reason they don't.
I will say I can't think of anybody, but for comedic reasons, I will keep pretending that there is somebody.
Oh, that I don't like?
Yeah. I just don't know who that is.
There was a time when there was never a time when I didn't like anybody in the space, but there were times when I was really competitive with some other channels, and I know they were competitive with me too, even though we didn't talk about it, trying to get this car first or that number of views or whatever, and that competition feeling is gone away now, and I really, really, truly wish for the best for all these guys, and a lot of them come to me and ask me opinions. Hey, what do you think I should do here? What is this? You know, I've kind of taken on this sort of grandfatherly role in car YouTube. Okay, next question. Kennan, these are 2 good ones right for you in a row.
Cool.
Number 1 from Boris Frank. Kennan, would you go into the details of the F355 purchase? Did you finance? Was it a good deal? How could you afford it in general? It would be quite interesting and inspiring to hear how you managed to get your dream car at such a young age.
Yep. So, I mean, I did save for a pretty long time. I set out on the goal of having the car when I was 10. Actually, the car that started it all happens to be in the office right now. The 355 that started it all happens to be here.
Tip cab.
Yeah, it is tip cab, but that was the first exotic car experience I have, and man, is it special. But anyway, I rode in that car one time in late May 2005, and I got out of the car and said I wanted to have a 355, and I started working and saving, and then I used it as my motivation through school to like keep working and all these things. Eventually I got to Cars and Bids, and things were going well. We got an investment from the company, got some money out of that too, and that was the time. It was like I realized it's like the values were also starting to go up very fast. All of a sudden 355s, even Spiders, were really taking off. I thought, finally, I'm at the point where I can afford this car. Is the goalpost going to get moved because the market realizes how special it is? So I jumped into one and I bought the car. I did finance a part of it because the rates weren't that bad at the time, and so I did that. Arriving at that point when there's a difference between being able to do something and then you should do something. And that was the problem because I rushed a little bit too much into that one. I did a PPI on it. I did all my due diligence, and I still ended up with the wrong car. So but I was in such a hurry to buy one that ultimately I got one that wasn't the color I wanted, and a whole bunch of other things. And that was where it sort of started.
You then fixed the things that were problematic, and
I did fix all the things that were problematic. We sold on the site for much more than I paid for it, even with the maintenance in it, which I was very fortunate to do so. But I did get to have the experience. It didn't actually cost me anything.
We ever want to have the experience again?
Absolutely.
Wow.
The thing with the 355
you should have bought that blue salvage title GTS that was in that flood.
He wanted the perfect one, and instead he gets one that's a different body style, different color.
What I want is
stick GTS.
I want that car harnessable transmission. I want Rosa Corsa tan Spider 98 6-speed. That's the car I want. And I will do it again, but there's a thing about Ferraris that they're great third cars. They are not good as a secondary sports car experience. It's not fast enough. It's not. The inputs aren't as good as, like, to be honest with you, a Porsche. I think having my car, a Porsche, and then maybe a Ferrari down the road is like the right road to go down. But it was wonderful. My goal was to have it before I was 30, and I accomplished that because Enzo Ferrari once said I build cars for young men, only old men can afford them, and so that's why I did it. But I do have regrets about it, but I also don't regret the first time driving down the PCH and screaming to myself going, this is it.
Well, and plus you got out of it. I mean, like, I think ultimately you shouldn't have any regrets at the end of the day. Like you sold it, you know, like you got in, you got out, you did what you wanted. You could go.
Well,
back
my
if you
regrets
wanted.
are that it so hurt me to have set that as a target that now I like. The reason I haven't bought another car is like, well, partially because I don't want to spend $100,000 on another car right now, but it's a bad time to do that. But also, there's just nothing that was as much of a North Star as that car was for me. It's just like, it's just the coolest. And I still think they are just the coolest. And it sounds so damn awesome. And there's nothing that delivers. I think I will approach it with a different perspective when I do it again.
Wow.
Expectations.
Kennan is still interested.
Look at it.
I agree.
There was like a
And that
dead year.
That one really
yeah.
beautiful.
My friend Ryan and Gary's car is immaculate, and I'm gonna miss it when it leaves the office. But it's a treat to have it here for now while they're redoing their garage floor. They can do that again anytime they want. I like seeing it.
Okay, next question. There's a couple more good questions. We're running out of time here. What do we do? This one's for me and Filippo.
Oh, wow.
No- King Burrito 3, what are your guys' favorite everyday cars? If you were buying a boring consumer economy car, what would you choose? I think about this a lot because I only ever drive special cars, and some days I just wish that I was blending in. And I think, what would I get? Like occasionally I'd be in a press car and it's just like a hybrid SUV, and I'm like, this is kind of nice.
Yep.
You know?
And you know what I would hope? I often have thought about this. What I
know your
hope
answer.
that I would find my way to is an Accord hybrid.
It's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
I would hope that non-enthusiast Doug, found his way into a Accord hybrid, or maybe a CR-V hybrid. The person writing in actually says that he just got an Insight. That too, I would. The most recent one, like the one that just ended.
No,
I would love one of those too.
Yeah.
Anything like that, right?
I'm a very situation specific. I would optimize for what my needs were at that moment. So there's a lot of cars, but I strongly think the Marquez GTI is one of the best all around like economy
an
cheap cars.
enthusiast car.
Yeah, but it's also like, you know, normal car. There's a lot. It would so depend on which was cheapest at that moment. An Ioniq 5, a regular Ioniq 5,
Yeah.
EV,
An EV.
enough enough practicality, enough ground clearance. There's a trillion cars that are all just incredibly good buys for that purpose.
Yeah,
Truly.
Ioniq 5 is probably the right.
What, I'm sorry?
Ioniq 5.
Ioniq 5 is solid, but there's a lot of others too.
I would just, if I weren't into cars, I think I would buy for longevity, and I don't think at least EV would be what I would be looking for. I think that knowing me and knowing how I treat other products that I don't care about, would just buy something that's like
so
good and lasts.
And an Accord hybrid's not a bad
And I
option.
would get an
CR-V
Accord
isn't a bad
hybrid, and
option.
I would just be like happy to get a mid-sized sedan with 40 miles per gallon, and I'd be totally chill with that.
There are a lot of other good options. I have like a mental list of the order I would go in to consider it. I just haven't done that experiment in a while.
The lottery was $1 billion recently, and we all had our supercar dreams. Filippo had his practical car dreams of the list you would go
Supercars. There's no supercar I would buy even if it went lottery.
Well, right, that's what he's
That's
saying.
what I'm
you were
saying.
the practical.
No, I know. I just want to confirm that for everybody.
Well,
if anybody had confusion.
You know what, Filippo? You didn't need to.
Yeah.
We
All
all
right,
know.
last question. We're going to stop here, even though there's some other good ones. We'll do them another time. Too Soon Jr. asks, question for Doug. Do you have any insight into what seems like the death of automotive content on YouTube? Many once popular channels are now struggling to average 20 to 50,000 views per video. Short form. Felipe, tell them about short form, because you love short form.
I do love short form. YouTube has changed. First of all, just because a channel was successful once, if they didn't adapt, pay attention to what their viewers wanted to watch, views will go down. Not so because they're a bad creator or bad at it. Just if they want to keep making the same type of content, their views will probably change and go down. They might go back up at some point, but what consumers want changes. Short form is also at this point the discovery mechanism for YouTube. If you want to be discovered as a creator on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, short form is the answer to that, because that is what each of those platforms is pushing as a way to engage users. So you're much more likely to get discovered with your short form, which can translate to long form content too.
Sometimes. This is not unique to automotive. The person writes in asking about the death of automotive content, I presume because they are an automotive content viewer. However, I have noticed this on basically every type of content, because a lot of people have moved on to short form. And Filippo's like, the younger generation has no attention span.
I've never said that. There's also long
People
form.
do say that.
There's
I
also,
agree with people do say that. But I hear that from people.
There's also long form that still performs well, but it's from different creators or different style of content or a different format. It changes. But you should keep supporting the channels that you like the content of. And a lot of channels have understood that, like the Smoking Tire does, that a Patreon is a good way for them to keep doing similar content. Or other ways to support them with merch or whatever else, where you can still try to get the content that you're looking for.
Yep. But that's it. Short form has killed long form.
Tastes change,
Murder.
but short form has not killed long form.
It's all over.
It's changed the discovery for content.
Thank you for watching our podcast, everyone.
With the very long form
Best
that
one.
it is.
The finest pod
The
we've ever
longest
done.
of forms.
The longest of forms. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.